my colleague Steve and I are so excited to share with you guys how to use Benzinga Pro today. Thank you so much, Dan, and our friends over at Bullish Bears. You guys rock, and we feel really privileged to work together with really honest guys over at Bullish Bears. So thanks for having us on today. All right, so let's get right into it here. My name's Jonathan, and I work on Benzinga Pro with product training and education. I've got my number up here. That's my direct line. So you guys can call me anytime with questions, or you could just email me at onboarding@benzinga.com. That'll get to me, to Stephen Orr, to the rest of our team, and we would love to have a little chat. And let's see here, for some reason. There we go. So, but who the heck am I? Who is Stephen Orr, aka Big Beat? Well, like I said, I work with our product team, getting feedback from our users, and I've been studying the markets and successful trading strategies just for about 2 years. So in terms of how long it takes to become a professional trader, that is not long at all. You know, in my past life, I was in insurance industry management, and I was also the director of a nonprofit organization. And I'm sure some of you guys out there have kids as well. I have 2 sons under the age of 4. I work full-time here for Benzinga in educating and training and product, and I trade a little bit part-time, just implementing these strategies that we'll be talking about today. So why am I here? The point is that anyone can do this, as long as you have hard work, dedication, some good mentors like either Stephen Orr is with us today, or the guys over at Bullish Bears are. I mean, you guys, I'm using Bullish Bears to improve my trading, so it goes both ways here. So really excited. And Stephen, why don't you just go ahead and share a little bit about yourself?
Okay, Jonathan. Well, I've been training for about 28 years. I've been here with Benzinga now a little over a year now. I run 2 crypto funds, as well as my past. I've been in the White House, State Department, a lot of cool things. I also squawk for Benzinga, and I also am pretty much a news junkie here. And you'll probably see me in the chat room as Big Beat.
Awesome. Hopefully you guys could all hear that. We've kind of got like 3 different technologies going on here, but yeah, Steve is one of my mentors, and he loves sharing his knowledge with all of our users. So definitely take advantage of him, take advantage of me, and we really believe that what sets Benzinga apart, other than our news, is also that we're accessible. So so it's just an awesome opportunity to work with him. All right, so if you have anything else going on, definitely shut down those other screens. I mean, some of you probably have some sort of trade still going on, but get ready to learn, because we're going to break down how to find those news catalysts inside of Benzinga Pro, and this definitely has the potential to take your trading to the next level. So yeah, put away your cell phone, your other tabs, all that good stuff. And, you know, Steve talks about this all the time. I hear it from Dan and Lucian, and I've seen it for myself. A lot of people think that they can just wake up, you know, roll out of bed at like 10 a.m. after the market's open and, you know, trade for half an hour and become a millionaire. But you guys probably know already that that's not how it works. We have to work with hard work, dedication, and following principles for success. But if you stick around today and check out Benzinga Pro along with your other tools, I guarantee you will start to see improved results when you're using news catalysts in addition to your regular strategies with technical trading or other things like that, fundamental analysis. Quick little disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, so just got to tell you that. So don't share your confidential information with me. Don't sell me, your portfolio to manage. I'm not licensed to do that. And Benzinga believes that, you know, we would rather teach someone how to fish rather than just give them one fish. So rather than give you buy and sell recommendations, we want to show you how to find the information that goes with your strategy rather than just you know, spoon feeding you. And I think that really aligns with the high quality education that Bullish Bears gives on a day-to-day basis. All right, so news catalysts. That's what we're talking about today. How to find news catalysts on Benzinga Pro. So what are news catalysts? These are a defined set of news events with a high probability of driving price change when released to the public. So Benzinga is all about getting you the news as quickly as possible and as easy to digest as possible so that basically you can have a speed edge over the general public. And these are just a few examples. We'll get more into detail here in a minute, but everything from the halts to unusual options trades. I really like the why is it movings. I think Dan had that up earlier. It's just a one sentence summary. You know, we'll just go over all of these here, so I don't have to name it all right now. And here's just a fun little pic of our news desk team. You see Steve joined us in Detroit last week, and I mean, these guys are great. It's the heart and soul of Benzinga Pro. You don't see them in the picture, but we do have gals working at Benzinga too. So if you ever need us, you can contact us through the chat inside of the platform. So you have access to our team of reporters and analysts, you know, as well as myself and Steve. So they are here to help you improve your trading. All right, so I'll get back to this in a second, but I'm going to switch screens right now to show you Benzinga Pro. So I'm just dragging that down here. So you guys should be able to see everything now. All right.
Looks great.
Cool. So this is just a clean slate, right? So you sign into Benzinga Pro. And by the way, Dan, could you throw in your link so that people could get a free trial on your chat? Let's see, Steven.
Absolutely.
Steven's saying he can't see it. Let's see here. I got to change it on Zoom too. Sorry about this, guys. See, just changing my shared to that. Boom, we're good to go, almost. All right, I think we're really good to go now. Yeah, so it's a free trial, guys. We don't require credit card information. We believe that news and information speaks for itself. So you have literally no reason to not start your 2-week free trial. We're here to assist you guys and definitely start it today so that you can start implementing these strategies. So what we're going to start with today, we're just going to go through each of the tools, but I'm going to show you how I found 3 stocks that were moving today. And then I'm going to show you how to identify those news catalysts that cause those movements, and then how to filter the news feed to identify those movements or to identify those catalysts in the future so you could get in on it before the price volatility occurs. So I'm going down here to see, it says screener here, but this is actually in a sandbox version. So now this is called movers. But this is pretty simple, right? It's just showing you what's going up or down the most on a given day and within a given time period. So right now I have gainers and losers. I could just click on gainers only if I only want to see gainers, or only losers if I'm interested in shorting or you know, buying the dip. And so I'll just put it on gainers and losers for right now. And I was looking in the pre-market, so I can click on the pre-market session. If you're using this throughout the day, lots of people will have it set for 15 minutes if you want to see the stocks that have momentum right now. But for our purposes, I switched it to the session because I just want to show you which stocks had the biggest movements over the pre-market session. You can also narrow it down by sector if you want to. So let's say I just want those biotech stocks. Then I can click on healthcare, and it just narrows it down to healthcare, biotech stocks. Or if I want to include, energy, I can include that as well. I'll just get rid of those for right now. And then you can also click and drag the slider bar to decrease the market cap if you're just looking for those small cap stocks, or increase the minimum if you want the larger cap stocks. And same thing for price per share. So, and then lastly, you can freeze it so it doesn't reorder on you every minute. Otherwise, it will refresh every minute. All right, so let's take a look here. I have a list here in front of me. The first one I want to look at here is real. I don't even know how to say this. RLGY. I'll just click on the ticker there, and you'll see that it brings up that company in our details tool. And this is one of my favorite parts of Benzinga Pro, is just how quick and easy it is to get all the information in one place for a particular company. And so the first thing you want to check when you're interested in a company is this why is it moving bar at the top. So in one sentence, our news desk breaks down all the information so you have it all in one spot. And so we can see immediately the shares are trading higher after the company launched its turnkey home buying partnership with Amazon. And then lots of times, you've got this overview chart here. I like to switch it to the 5-day chart so I can see a little bit more of a narrative. See, what was that huge opening gap there, and then it sold off a bit this morning before going up again. And then I'm going to scroll down, and here's all the news in one spot for this company. So I'm going to scroll down, and I want to find when was the first news item for that company today. And so it looks like, let's see here. This was out on a press release. Actually, it hit Benzinga Wire before that press release. That's very interesting. So at 7:26 a.m. this morning, I click on that, and then we see that it's just tagged. I'm looking for these tags, right? So this is just tagged with general news, but this real estate giant strikes deal with Amazon. So you also want to pay attention to those keywords or key phrases that we can go back to and use later in our news feed. So pay attention to deal right here. In fact, I'm going to open up a new workspace here. So for those of you who are brand new to Benzinga Pro, workspaces are just these tabs at the top. You can have up to 4 tools open in one workspace. And I'm just clicking on this plus button to open up a new tab. And then I'm going to open up a news feed right here and just type in deal. And we'll come back to that. We'll just put that in our back pocket for later. All right. So we're back here at our details tool, and you can see you have key information, fundamental data on the company, on the industry, all in one place here. And by the way, you also have a more detailed charting tool provided from TradingView if you just click on that chart tab. And so you can switch that to like a 1-minute or 5-minute chart. And you have, if you click on this squiggly line with the plus button, you have a bunch of indicators you could add. Say like if I want to add the relative strength index, I can just type that in real quick, and I've got the RSI right there. So pretty handy tool, especially if you maximize it on a larger screen. So as well as financials right here. If you want to double check their financial statements, you got all of that inside of the details tool. And then lastly, if you want to check out other peer companies, it's not showing up for this company, but lots of times to do more research, you can just click on peers and it will share companies with similar characteristics. All right, so let's say I check out all the details and I decide to either execute on a trade or just keep an eye on this because I want to watch it for a certain price point later on in the day. Then I'm just going to click on Add to Watch List up here in the upper right corner. And then you'll see I added this to my onboarding webinar watch list earlier today, or I've made these other watch lists for different types of catalysts. So I'll show you more of how to use those watch lists in a moment here. So that's company number one. We went to the movers, we found the movement, we clicked on it, and then we just saw, okay, this was a strategic partnership deal that hopefully I could filter for in the future. Let's try out two more here. I have CHMA. Let's see, where is that here? There we go, CHMA. It looks like it's down after hours here, but they were trading higher after the company announced this trial, and it met its primary endpoint and all secondary endpoints. So a lot of you are probably familiar with biotech stocks, but these are key research and development thresholds and objectives that must be met to obtain approval by the Food and Drug Administration. And so, you know, I just click on my 5-day chart again to see what's going on there. And then I'm going to scroll down and once again find where did this first come out on Benzinga Pro. So once again, you see you got this press release here, but who has time to read hundreds of press releases? I mean, our news desk is, I mean, they're machines. Like, they know exactly where to look, but I know I still don't after doing this for 2 years. And so this is the beauty of Benzinga Pro is 7 minutes later, you see you've got this nice little, I'm zooming in here, so hopefully you guys can see it too. You've got that sentiment indicator, that little green caret there. So that's just a little alert from our news desk saying, hey, this is more probably, it's more probable for this to move the price of the stock to go up. Then I click on that, and the tags there, looks like I clicked on it twice. The tags are biotech, FDA, general, and news. So I'm going to come back to FDA tagged headlines in a moment here, and it gives you all of this. And so what are a couple phrases or words that pop out at me? Well, definitely phase 3. That comes up all the time. That's generally like one of the last steps before approval, so that's a big deal. And then primary endpoint comes up a lot. So this is kind of a combination here, but I would just select primary endpoint, and that would bring that up. So I'm going back. I might as well show you right now how to rename workspaces. I'm just double clicking on where it says workspace 1 up here at the top. And I'm just gonna type in movers. And then for workspace 2 here, I'm gonna double click on that and type in keyword news. And then I'm opening up another news feed here. And I'm typing in phase 3 and a third news feed. And I'm typing in primary endpoint. All right, we'll come back to that in a moment here. All right, going back to the movers. And then let's say once again, I just check out all my data, see if it fits with my strategy. And then I go to add to watch list. And then I'm adding that to my onboarding webinar watch list. So now there's a little check next to that there. All right, and so moving on, this is the last one here before we move on. I just wanted to show you AVCO, Avalon Global Care. It looks like it was up 13% in the pre-market hours, and it sold off some later today, but they're trading higher after the company announced a strategic partnership. You know, there's that phrase again, strategic partnership with GE Healthcare to accelerate standardized automation and bioproduction for cellular medicines. So, you know, once again, I just click on the 5-day chart and then I scroll down and you can check out some of the key data points down below the news. And where did this first come out today? Well, it looks like this actually came out late last night. So, well, not too late, actually just after hours here. It came out on a newswire at 4:30 in the after hours, and then we had it on our news feed at 4:32 with, once again, this nice little double sentiment indicator right there. I click on that, and that's just, see, here's an example where it's just tagged with news. So that's where you really would benefit from those keywords like strategic partnership or things like that, or possibly filtering by sector, which I'll show you in a few minutes here. So I just jump over to keyword news again, and I'm gonna open up another news feed and type in strategic partnership, and there we have it. So, oh, and last thing is I go to add to watch list, and I click on onboarding webinar, and now that is in my onboarding webinar watch list. So hopefully that's pretty clear for you guys. Just let me know. Let's see, I'm seeing something come in on the chat here. Does it show offering and shelf on Benzinga Pro? We will, yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, you do have, thank you, Dan, for answering some of those questions on there. All right, so since we already have it open, let's just hop over to keyword news. And here are just 4 keywords that we just found just now. Actually, I found them this morning. And you can see how I've got deal open in the news feed, and it just, you know, we had Zion Williamson sign his deal with Nike today. You have all sorts of deals that come up. So this is obviously a pretty high volume keyword, but we look, you know, here's strategic deal for exclusive US OTC rights to Tamiflu and FluCare. That gave that a little bump there. So pretty broad range of the types of catalysts there. Now for phase 3 down here, you'll probably see more FDA related items because of that term phase 3, diffusion pharmaceuticals. You know, I could just scroll down here and find, you know, what were these key items that really moved today. So once again, that CHMA, we talked about that earlier. And check this out. So all I have to do is hover over this, and it tells me the change in the price since it was published. Oops, it looks like I clicked on it there. So I'll go back to the keyword news. But it showed me just by hovering over it, it shows me the price quote, it shows me the price chart at the bottom with this nice little blue line indicating where it came out. And so right here, change since published, it's up 26.5% since that was published at 6:07 a.m. this morning. So pretty cool just to have that information so easily available on the news feed. All right, so the same thing for primary endpoint, strategic partnership. If you want more ideas on great keywords, just to have up, let's say you're setting up your pre-market screener or just preparing for your day in the morning, you could just have, a keyword workspace even as a pop-out that you just drag to another monitor. Or I know lots of people that use this for political news as well. So you could just type in Trump, Larry Kudlow, Jerome Powell, and just get real-time updates if they're on TV or they're tweeting or something like that. So keywords are a very powerful way to filter down the news feed, and let us know if you have more questions on that. All right, so moving on to way number 2. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to open up a fresh, clean news feed here. And this is it, guys. This is the bread and butter of Benzinga Pro. So our default feed has 2 sources. Overall, I think we have 5 or 6 sources. 6 sources, but the default sources are Benzinga signals, which are automated unusual activity alerts, and Benzinga Wire. So that's our curated news feed, where our news desk has access to all the press releases, SEC filings, other media sites, and they're curating that and then giving you summary headlines so it cuts through all the noise. Then if you want, there's GG Press from Japan, partner links from all over the internet, kind of like there's a lot of Seeking Alpha content on there as well as other sites, and then press releases and SEC filings. I think I saw a chat message about an Edgar page. So you might as well just show you right now. If you're looking for an Edgar page with that more detailed information, let's say you really want to dig deep on a stock, you just select SEC filings and press releases down here at the bottom, click done, and then in the keyword search, you could just type in any ticker like Ford Motor Company, and there I've got all the press releases and SEC filings for Ford Motor Company. That's just a quick example right there. So I'll go back to our default setting here of Benzinga signals and Benzinga wire, because I want to show you one of my favorite filters, which are those category tags. So especially when you're newer to trading, it helps just to narrow it all down. Or let's say you're just trying to add news to spice up a current strategy that's already working well for you. Well, if I just click on one of these, you'll see this is tagged with commodities, markets, movers, news, and trading ideas. So I'm going to click on categories up here at the top. You'll see these are the filter buttons: sources, categories, sectors, and watch lists. Click on categories, and here are all the different categories that news can potentially be tagged with. So that if I click on one of these, let's say I click on FDA, I click done. Now I only have FDA tagged headlines. It narrows it down to what, like 25 headlines for the day. Very, very specific types of headlines there. Let's go back into categories. And so you can do this in multiple ways. So let's say you want the full feed, right? But you want certain categories just to pop out at you a bit more. So let's say you're interested in cannabis stocks. We'll make that green. Let's do some crypto in yellow. I usually make FDA green, but I'll make that teal or whatever. And then let's just try that for now. I click done, and you can see there's a pretty high volume of headlines here. But whenever those come up, they're highlighted so that it's a lot easier for me to find them. See, right here is an FDA type headline. So that's one way to do it. Another way, if I click on categories again, if I just select only the ones that I want, like I love IPOs and offerings, some merger and acquisition activity, insider trades. Let's give some trading ideas, rumors. We'll just leave it at that for now. I click done, and look at this, how it's a lot more filtered down, and it's easy for me to immediately find what's important to me throughout the day. And then for categories also, you can set real-time sound alerts or email alerts for these. You would just go to the upper right corner, or actually this is a sandbox version. So I guess it's in the bottom left corner here. I click on the bell symbol, and then here you have all of these different categories. So if you let's say you always want to know about cryptocurrency, you just click that drop down, and then you select the Morse code, and it'll play a sound alert for you every time a new headline comes out in that category. Or you can check this email button to get real-time email alerts for every single headline. So I'll turn those back off for now. And this is one of 3 different types of sound alerts on Benzinga Pro. So, so this is number 1. I'll show you how to do it with your watch list and with the signals tool as well. All right, so I showed you how to filter by keyword news, and now we have the category filtering. Let's move on to the watch list. So I'm clicking on the watch list tool here, and I accidentally cleared out my biotech watch list earlier. So I'm just going to this onboarding webinar. You'll notice I access that by clicking on this drop down in the upper right corner. And here are all of my different watch lists. And here are just some movers that I found this morning, including 3 that we covered. And if you want to add a symbol, let's say you want to add NIO, you just type it in, and then you can either press a comma or space bar or select from the drop down. And that just recognizes it in our system. Notice it's not in my watch list yet. You have to press enter a second time to add it to the watch list, and it populates in real time down here. Now I'm going to right click on that, and then I can just remove it from my watch list from that menu. Okay, so let's say you want to set up those alerts for your watch list. You guys probably have watch lists in other applications, but I just click on this bell symbol. Notice it's different from the category alerts over here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to click on the bell symbol, and then I click on, for sound alerts, I can select one of those, say open can. If you really want to raise your blood pressure, and if you have young kids, just select the glass sound effect. That always gets my heart rate up. Or you can do real-time email alerts by clicking on any of these toggle switches. And then lastly, you've got those real-time or those email summaries at the beginning and ending of each trading day. So very helpful if you're not actively trading certain stocks, but you just want summaries at the beginning and ending of the day. All right, so we set those alerts, right? Let's say you go through here and you set whatever alerts you want for a relevant watch list, but how are you going to find those headlines that come from those alerts when they play through your speakers on your computer? Well, that's why we have the watch list filter on our newsfeed. So I'm going to open up another newsfeed here. So I've got my category filter on the left-hand side, and over here on the right-hand side, you'll notice the category highlighting carries over, but the filtering down does not. So now I've got sources at 2, and I'm clicking on watch lists, and now I just select my onboarding webinar watch list. So it's only going to be news on these companies. You could select multiple watch lists if you want to, but then I just click done, and now I'm only receiving news on those companies. Now, really quick here, some people ask me all the time, Jonathan, what does it mean when it says Amazon plus 10? That just means that other companies are listed in that article. So some of these are like automated articles that are just showing you like stocks that broke 52-week highs, mid-afternoon market updates, things like that. So that's where you get those plus 45 or plus 290 tickers. But if you scroll down, I would find some that are in my watch list. Next, for the watch list filtering, I might want to include more sources. Let's say if I click on sources, if I want to include everything, let's say these are in my portfolio, or I'm actively looking for any news for them throughout the day, I can just deselect the sources at the top. And when nothing is checked here, that means that everything is included. But as soon as you check a box, then it excludes everything except for that category. So I'm just clicking done here. And now you would really have all the news for those companies. Over here on the right-hand side, you can see the source. So BZ Wire, Partner, Signals, it's all in there. So that's how you filter by watch list. And if I don't need my watch list open, I can just close that. And I might even rename this, say, my filtered news. Cool. So there you have it. So what we've covered so far are, how to find those movers, identify news catalysts, keep track of keywords for those catalysts that you never want to miss on a day-to-day basis, filter the news down so it's more actionable using categories or using a watch list. And then one more thing to show you here, sectors are pretty simple, but if you really want to zone in on, say, the healthcare sector or on financials, then I'll just turn off my watch list here. I'll change it back to Benzinga Signals and Benzinga Wire. And then under sectors, I can just select one of these. Let's say I want financial services, and then you can even break it down into subsectors. Let's say if I only want banks, I just deselect those other ones. And now I'm only looking at company on banks, or I'm only looking at news on banks. You can tell that my coffee's wearing off a little bit here at, 4:45 in the afternoon. So that's another way to filter down your news feed. So right here, Steve, if you're still with us here, I just want to turn it over to Steve. Steve, you have so much experience with trading. Is there any tips that you want to share with bullish bears here on just how you use our newsfeed?
Yeah, one of the things that I do, thanks Jonathan, is when I've created my watch list, it can also filter down your news for you. So let's say, for example, you have your watch list built out. You can actually follow the news just based on your stocks that you're following yourselves.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, the whole point of Benzinga Pro is to make it more simple, right? Not to complicate things. So if all you need are the stocks that you're watching, then you just go to your watch list, you select, I don't know, whatever you're watching, but I'll select onboarding webinar again, and you're good to go. Thanks, Steve. Cool. So let's see what's next here. Just wanted to, let's see, make sure we basically already went over the details tool, but I'll just touch base on that again. I'm opening up details in a separate workspace here, just so that you can see it more clearly with everything here. We already covered the overview chart. You've got the company information and then the news all in one spot here. And then I do want to touch base again. It looks a lot better with the charting, that advanced charting. You click on that tab. I added the RSI for you guys earlier, but there's a lot that you can do here. with the trading view chart. So just wanted to touch base on that. But before we move away from the squawk, or before we move away from the news completely, Steve, Bigby, you've had experience squawking in the past, and you've done a great job for Benzinga as well. So why don't you share with our users a little bit about what squawk is and how to use it in Benzinga Pro?
Okay, yeah, sure, of course, Jonathan. One of the things here about our news feed is that we like to get the news out as fast as possible to our users. And the best way to do that is by voice. Sometimes getting news over from one side to the other, or trying to beat the normal news agencies that are out there, is by squawk. And that's, we have a system on the left-hand side, Jonathan is showing you now. You just click on that, you click on the play button, and that's it. We have two squawkers here, possibly a third one here as well. That's Charlie Gross. He's been doing it for over 8 years. I fill in for Charlie all the time. I'm also been doing it for about 9. And Brent Slava, who is the head of News Desk, has been doing it a long time as well. And so we pride ourselves on trying to get the news to you as fast as possible over the system by our voice.
Awesome. Yeah, and what's so amazing to me, Steve, is that sometimes when you guys are squawking, you get the news out faster than the wire itself, because all the squawkers are seeing those headlines come through at the same time as the news desk as they're typing up the summaries. So lots of times you'll hear the squawk and then you'll see the news feed update. So I just think that's awesome.
And being a trader ourselves, sometimes when you see the feed like the Reuters or Bloomberg, sometimes it doesn't make sense to traders. But as a trader like myself for 28 years, I like to put that one little headline into a nice squawk that traders understand, and understand it in a way to actually make a trade.
Perfect. And you know, lots of times there's so much information to keep track of during earnings season. You know, squawk can get really lively. And so I just wanted to show the next tool here on Benzinga Pro, where you can get more information on earnings, or say analyst actions, or the economics, macroeconomic calendar. And that is our calendar tool. So I opened up another workspace. I'll just rename this calendar, rename this one details. So in our calendar, I'm hovering over this icon on the left-hand side, and I'm clicking on in workspace. And there's actually 11 different calendars inside of Benzinga Pro. So here you see the default setting where you have all the earnings announcements for today, and this updates in real time. And you can also plan ahead. You know, if you're looking for the next day, I could just click on this date range here and just select the 24th. I'll double click on it, and then it'll just give me all the earnings announcements that are expected for tomorrow. So this is a great way to keep track of earnings depending on how you like the setup. So really quick here, one way you can combine, say, our earnings calendar with the news feed, I'll open up another news feed here, is there's actually a category for earnings and guidance. So I just click on earnings and guidance, I click done, and boom, here you have the real-time feed. Look at these nice little summaries here. You have the EPS, misses, and then you have the sales numbers as well. So short and sweet, actionable content. And again, you can set those category alerts if you want to. But let's do it again with analyst ratings. I click on this drop down here in the calendar tool, and then I select analyst ratings. And so you've got all the analyst actions for the day. Right now, I think it's, oops, just went out of Benzinga Pro. But it'll come back up in a minute. And it was sorted chronologically there, so by the timestamp. But you can sort by any of those columns, as well as filter by any of those variables. So let's say I only want companies that had analyst actions where they raised the price target today. So I just click on filters here on this vertical black bar. I'm going to get rid of the chat right now. I click on filters, and then I click on action price target, and then I just deselect everything except for raises. And so you can see here that was the action, and you've got all the other data there as well. Or you could filter so it's only upgrades or only initiates. So pretty cool ways to filter down your calendars right there. I'll close out the news feed so it's easier to see everything here. You can also add or subtract columns. So let's say if I don't need the date or the timestamp even, I could just get rid of certain things. Analyst name or whatever, you name it. You can customize it to your liking there. Then I can't, I have to show you the economics calendar. That's what most of you guys think of when you think of a calendar, I bet. And you can sort by any of these columns. So two favorite ways of sorting the economic calendar are by clicking on the country column. So you have it grouped by country, or you could sort by importance. So that's given to you by your news desk. So you've got existing home sales, that's an important number. Or let's say if I go over to earnings, let's see, I think that one has importance. Or was it analyst ratings? Let's see here. It looks like it might not have importance, but it does have that on the economics numbers. So very helpful to have those there. You can also find retail sales, guidance, and SEC filings inside of the calendar tool. So anything you want to add on the calendar tool, Steve? I might have lost Steve there for a second, or maybe he's on mute.
I do like looking at retail sales for companies too. Drop down menu from the, yeah, there you go. And you can look at retail sales, and I'm very, very keen on what sectors of the retail markets are moving up and which ones are moving down.
Very
so
cool.
They're like Pier 1 Imports is their same store sales are down 13.5%. It's actually sortable, so you'll know what companies are doing quite well with their retail sales.
Okay, very interesting. So I could just click that column even and just sort it by the same store sales.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, there's so much more in there, guys. You can find, I know IPOs are really hot. I get questions all the time. Where can I find IPOs? You just click on the IPO calendar. Conference calls. If you want to access those earnings calls, you can just access them directly through Benzinga Pro, where you just click on, say for RHI here, I just click there and it opens up either the investor relations site or the third-party service that they use for their conference calls. So pretty cool stuff. All right, so I think we can move on to signals. Man, this has been around since about January of this year, I believe, and we have gotten some great feedback. I want to turn it over to Steve just to explain more about the signals tool, because this thing is so cool, guys. I think Dan had it up a little bit earlier, but Steve, why don't you show us a little bit about how to use signals on Benzinga Pro?
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. I love signals. It's a very quick widget within Benzinga Pro, and the things that I'll tell you what to do is check on all of them. Price spike, option activity, block trades, halt and resume, opening gap, and 52-week highs and 52-week lows. And you'll see right here that we have filtered out just about everything and are showing you in real time what's going on. If you look, there's a couple of stocks right now. Jounce Therapeutics had a price spike there, a JNCE. You'll see that Fox A had a big block trade there. You'll see that 736,000 shares traded at $36.22. You'll see a price spike on V, which is Visa. Well, once again, Jonathan is showing you immediately right from the signals. We can pull the details page up and see what stock is actually moving. A couple of things that we do here as well. Now, we are here in the after hours, so obviously no option activity. But if you go back to where the regular market was, cash market, you'll see where the big unusual options were happening. The last one there is glycomimetics, GLYC. It's showing you right there, Jonathan's pulled it up, that a $7.50 put sweep has happened. 4,049 contracts had traded at that point. So it's showing you all those kind of neat little things as well. In the mornings at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will also show you opening gaps. Now, opening gaps are when the market jumps and it creates a gap within your technical trading. And then, of course, in the highs and lows, you can look at them from a day perspective, whether it be the 52-week high or 52-week low. It'll also show you the day high series, which means that throughout the day, if the stock is pushing higher throughout the day, it'll also let you know that as well as the day low series, which means if stock is going lower and lower and lower throughout the day, it'll pop that up for you as well. Now, one other thing about this also, you can also filter out your signals as well. So if you go to the filters drop-down menu, you'll see that we have the ability to add several filters. You can do it based on a percentage change within your stock if it's jumping. You can do it within a sector. I'm a biotech trader, so I love the biotech world. You can easily click on the sector button, type in healthcare, and boom, now you have all of the healthcare stocks and biotech stocks that are moving within the day, either with unusual options in the biotech world or looking for 52-week highs or 52-week lows. I'm always looking for 52-week lows in the biotech world, always looking to pick up cheap biotech stocks. As well as you can also create notifications like every other widget that we have. You can make the sounds, and I like the emails as well. But you can also get a desktop notification, and you can get a synthesized voice. If you don't want to hear mine or Charlie's, you can hear the sound within the platform.
Yeah, I think that's so cool, Steve, how you can use a synthesized voice to almost build your own signal squawk almost.
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, definitely use this, test it out. There's so much information on here. There's just so many ways to use it. And so let's see here. We have the chat. Do you want to share a little bit more about the chat, Steve?
Yep. So just like most platforms, we also have chat, which is available to everybody who is a member, as well as trialing as well too. You can, real simple, you see where it says type a message. We are a community really close and not knit there. We all are trying to help each other be better traders, as well as finding those hot stocks. I am in the chat room constantly. My nickname is Big Beat, and I'm there pushing out the news as well. I'm showing you where the hot stocks are. I will literally put the link in there, or I will put the symbol in there so that you can easily see what I'm seeing. Throughout the day when I'm trading, I will easily just put the stock symbol in there.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, and you guys, obviously we're in a chat room right now on Bullish Bears, but it's just another way to build your network as a trader and build your knowledge base and see what other people are doing in the space. Cool. So without any further ado, guys, I think this is one of our first webinars where we're going to show you guys our brand new screener. So this is actually still the sandbox version of the platform right now. So it was called Radar before, but it's actually called Screener. So just want to pull this up here for all of you. We're so pumped about this because you guys can now use over like 36 variables, I believe, to filter down your stocks. So Steve, do you want to share a little bit about the new screener and what you're excited about?
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. There's a few things that I really like within the screener. I think it's very exciting because it's dynamic, it's quick, and if I'm looking for something, it's right there in front of me. When you first open it up, you'll notice that the first symbol you see is Microsoft, MSFT. It is already sorted by market cap. So you'll know that the market cap of Microsoft is over $1 trillion, and they're now put in an order now based on the amount of money that the company's worth, the market cap. But from there, we can filter down if we're looking for certain types of trades. Let's say, for example, you're looking for a dividend yield of between 5 and 7%. So we click on the dividend yield box, you will see that we have the ability to put in our own number, or we can also put in pre-sorted numbers. But in this case, we're gonna go 5 to 7%. So click 5 and then 7, and then dynamically it is changing, showing us 5 to 7%. Yep, and there they are. Now, if within this position here, I'm looking for something that's, okay, it's paying a nice dividend, but it's got a high PE. I might want to lower that down and find a stock that's got a pretty good PE. We know that the market's trading at around 16.5 to 17 PE. But what if I want to get a little safer? And so I want to look for something in the PE range of between 10 and 15. And now all of a sudden, I'm looking for stocks that are a little more safer, paying a good dividend. And I found them very quickly, and it looks like dynamically. And the top right up there is Royal Dutch Shell's paying a good dividend up there. AT&T's paying a good dividend. British Petroleum, BP are paying a good dividend. And we did that very quickly. And this sorted through 26,000 different equities to get you that in that time frame right there. And we can also look for other things like change percent throughout the day. We can look for return on investments. We can look at gross profit margins. But if we want to look at, we can also look at trend following as well, Jonathan. At the top there, you'll see trend following. And if we're looking for good stocks, we're looking for things that are happening throughout the day in your technical trading. For example, it may be a 20-day or 50-day moving average, and they'll also be in there as well.
Awesome. So you can sort by any of these columns here, as well as, you know, filter by those same technical variables. And then you can update this up to every 10 seconds, right, Steve?
That's right, every 10 seconds, automatically.
I just click on these 3 vertical dots up here at the top, and you can set it to update every 10 seconds or every minute, depending on what's best for you. Cool. So definitely, you know, that should be launching within the next couple days here. So definitely check out the new screener. We're super excited, and I think, you know, we gave you guys a pretty good overview today. So I think I'm going to switch back over to the slide presentation now, just to touch base again on, you know, what's this all about, right? So you've got all these tools, but it's just about making news and market data easier to consume so you can more quickly execute on your trading strategy. And so here's just another example on some patent news where Guardian Health Sciences received a Hong Kong patent, just another news catalyst there. Strategic partnerships. That came out, thanks for the reminder, Steve. I have to switch it for our Zoom audience here. Let's see here. I'm just doing a new share. And there we go. Of course, it turned it off for everybody. All right, now we're in business. So strategic partnerships, we talked about that today. Or you can search for deal, you can search for strategic partnerships, but it's all about getting that news catalyst more quickly than the average investor. Commercial launch, we didn't cover that yet today. Another great catalyst to look for. And we just want to trade the news smarter. So Benzinga Pro, you know, you can simply use our tools combined with your current strategy just to get that extra edge of speed, of clarity, and let our news desk do the work for you. So you don't have to go to all those different sites and try to aggregate the news yourself. You get clear, concise, actionable summaries that you can use on a day-to-day basis. And just a reminder, you know, this probably isn't for you if you're looking to be a millionaire overnight. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. It's bullish bears we're talking to. So you guys already do put in the work. And it's not going to happen instantaneously. But as you put in the work and as you recognize these news catalysts over time, eventually it'll become almost second nature for you. And here are just a few examples of recommendations from other sites or other organizations. I mean, you know, Dan and Lucian use Benzinga, but Ticker TV just gives ratings on services like ours. And then Modern Trader just talked about the ease of use and sleek design. My colleague Neil says we want to be like the Apple version of Bloomberg, where it's just a lot easier to navigate and easier to find things. And then Warrior Trading, maybe we shouldn't mention them since it's bullish bears here, but they just mentioned how they tried fly on the wall or trade the news, some of our competitors, and they tend to like our news and our squawk. So here we pretty much covered all this, but you've got real-time alerts, stock screener, live audio squawk, those market moving exclusives, those come only from Benzinga to Benzinga Pro users. And then we didn't cover how you can look up fund details. So look up what Berkshire Hathaway is holding, or look up you know, which institutions are most likely making those block trades. So there's just so much amazing stuff that you can do inside the platform. Just some more testimonials here from users that are professionals and still on Benzinga Pro on a day-to-day basis. Then another audio squawk view. Definitely check out the audio squawk. And here, Steve, you do always say that you need multiple tools as a trader, right?
That's
but
right.
it shouldn't be super complicated. So you know what? If you have 10 72-inch screens, good for you. But hopefully they're actionable and not a distraction. So hopefully when you use Benzinga Pro, it'll be a simple, clean, concise experience so that you don't feel lost. And if you do have any trouble, just let me or Big Beat know, and we would love to walk with you through those, through any questions that you might have. All right, and then just again, so a reminder here. So why am I qualified? Why is Jonathan Mallard qualified to talk to you about Benzinga Pro, about trading? Most of the people here at Benzinga, we're not from Harvard University. We come from all walks of life. And our users, are from all over the world. We're not the financial elite. We're scrappy and we get stuff done. So you can do it too. And just a reminder here, use the link that Dan threw in the chat room, or you can just go to pro.benzinga.com. Get your free trial today. Don't miss out another day on the powerful tools inside of the platform. And once again, here's my info. You can contact me directly at this number or at onboarding@benzinga.com. We'd love to, set up a call, or you also have access to Big Beat, Stephen Orr, when you're on a trial or as a subscriber. So we believe that, you can use news to inform any trading strategy, whether you're a scalper, whether you're a swing trader, even a long-term investor, you can use news. So let us help you. And thanks again to Dan and the whole Bullish Bears team for having us on today. I'm seeing someone come in the chat right now, so I'm trying to open up the chat on Zoom right now. Yeah, Stephen just threw on his link in the Zoom chat. I'll also throw it on the Bullish Bears chat. You can set up some time with Steve at calendly.com/bigbeat. That is Stephen Orr's calendar, so you can set up time with him anytime. Yeah, so thanks again. Don't miss out on your free trial. And do you have anything else, Dan, or we'll call it a night?
No, we can call it a night, man. Thanks for the presentation. Loved having you guys in to the trade room, and looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again, man, and we'll catch you later.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.